Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm making this video today to hopefully better help you understand how I came across making this profile for the Stream Deck for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Thanks to this video that 4,600 of you have watched, got really popular, and I've had nothing but really positive comments, which I'm really grateful for. I'm not very good at video editing, making videos. As you can tell, that one was made via my phone, which I didn't expect to blow up this quick. But a couple of people, I won't mention their names, but they asked me if I can just make a video to show how it works, just so they can go away and possibly make their own. So that's what this video is about today. So I'm going to go ahead and close out this. So to the right is the profile in question. And just to clarify, if you've not seen the other video, I will also put the link to this profile and the flight tracker add-on into the description below. As you can see down here, the flight tracker module is working alongside Stream Deck, which is how you're able to see all these at present. Now, the comms, navs, and transponder is self-explanatory. What I mean by that is, if you go to where it says toggle, generic toggle buttons, if you just drag one of these across, and correction. Let's try that again. See, I told you I was bad with these videos. Now, I would normally try and show what my Stream Deck is doing as well, but I don't have external cameras for me to record what my Stream Deck is doing, hence why I'm running the Stream Deck here so you can see what I'm doing. So what you would do is you'll go over to where it says nav and comms. If you select type, it'll give you an option. So say transponder, and that's basically how you set them up. Now, if you don't mess about with the tap and hold functions, it will take you to another profile here and back, providing you don't have a default profile set. What I mean by that is, say if I press and hold the nav button and I type in 10590, that will not work because I don't think it goes that low. Let me try that again. 109.50. So if I press enter on that now, you'll notice in nav2 it's already put in. If I single press that, it'll switch over. Now, I would have expected it to show up on the bottom, but it hasn't. So what I'll go ahead and do is just change the comms here. So I'll go on COM 1. I'll type in 12280. I have no idea what that's going to tune me into. You'll notice it's at the bottom here. So if I press it to select it, if you notice on the plane itself it's changed. I'll toggle it again. So it's now in the standby. Now it's in the active. So that's basically how they work. The reason why it's a tricky one to explain is because this is just a generic button. So is the flight director. So that you can pull from generic button. Nope. That you can pull from a preset button. So, APU master. Now, if you don't like that title there, you can make your own title. Have it show, change the color, etc, etc. Which is basically what I've done here. So AP master, I've hidden that header and shown the title. Otherwise, that would happen. Now, when I flick the autopilot on, it will show green. Just to show that that's corresponding within the sim, autopilot's on. Now, it doesn't matter if you don't press the button, because this is pulling straight from Sim Connect. So if you press the autopilot within the sim, it shows on. And you'll notice it's just turned the flight director on as well, without my input. So that's how that works. Auto throttle. Now this is a toggle event. So in the SDK, or the event values, the top here you got the toggle values. I'll explain that one in a minute. But the one I want to look for is the toggle events, which are here. So in toggle event basically corresponds to any of these. So you've got all these to mess about with for whatever buttons that you want. So if you've got a big stream deck, you can go nuts with all this if you've got the time. You can even make a G1000 setup if you really wanted to. And then the value one. Now this one for auto throttle, it's a bit different because I want it to show the value of the speed that I bugged in. And the only way I can get that to show is through the autopilot speed bug hold, which is basically this dial here. So if I dial it up, you see the value going up and back down. Now with this plane, I've got to put it in that one. But if I turn the auto throttle on, which you won't do because I'm on the ground, the numbers will go yellow. That was a tricky one to try and set up. Normally I'd have nav or something in there, but I just wanted to see what my value of speed bug that I used for auto throttle. But in heading, I used the presets, and the presets on their own show the value anyway. So you don't have to do anything with the value, the VS, vertical speed, or the altitude, because they will automatically show the values. The only one I had to manually do is the auto throttle. These negative and positive values, self-explanatory. Altitude, so you drag one in, click the drop down box, and you want it to positively change the altitude. Same with the negative, you drag that in, click on this, and you want it to negatively change the altitude. So they're pretty easy to set up. Except from the auto throttle, like I explained, that was a little bit finicky because I had to figure out how to get the auto throttle speed to show. Otherwise, it will just show a green bar going across there showing it's active, and I didn't want that. Now in lights, this is a generic profile, which means you can jump into any plane and use this profile. The only one you might find trouble with is a 4-engine plane. But anything 1 or 2 engines, it'll be fine. But this plane, it's got too many buttons switched on. Now it doesn't have beacons because I believe, yep, it's recog on this plane. So if I hit recog, you would normally see it turn on. But that's showing as nav, so I might have got that programmed up wrong. But normally recog should work as recog. Strobe lights, hang on. Recognition lights, light recog. Unless recog's another word for nav lights, in which case the nav light turns the recog on. I'm not 100% on that, but them values are set up right. Strobe lights, taxi lights, and landing lights. Now, the easiest way to work these out is you want the toggle event. So you'll bring this up. You'll pan down to close to the bottom of the page. If I can find it. Toggle event. So your toggle event will be anything below this. So it can be any one of these options. In the strobe lights, it's basically strobes underscore toggles. Now if you want to show the value whether it's on or off, or 1 or 0, or just active or inactive, will be the toggle value, which is feedback value. You'd have to find the strobes in here again if it exists. In which case, if it does, you just put light underscore strobe. So if your strobe lights are on, it will show as active. You don't really need to mess about with any of the other values with these toggle switches. They're fairly simple, pretty messy, but for me it gets the job done. I can jump in any plane, use them straight away. Now the most difficult one, and kind of rushed, because when I posted a sample video of what I was working on, people wanted this profile so bad I had to rush it to get it out. Systems. It's a tricky one to explain. The only thing I can suggest is you play about with it. What I mean by that is if you've got this profile, just copy one of these, just right click and copy, open a brand new profile, but in this case I'm just going to use this for example and press paste. Then just look at what I've done here. I will explain it in a second, and then mess about with it. And do it while the sim's running, because then you can see the values running while the sim's running. If you don't see anything, or you suspect that it's not working, close down Stream Deck and start it back up, and it'll start running. But going back to what I was going to say, TLP, thrust lever position. Now, I did want it to run the N1, but the N1 does not exist in here. Can't find it, won't work, didn't bother with it. So instead, I use a display value. That's another word for toggle value, which is toggle values. So anything in the value section, I decided to set it to general engine throttle lever position, TLP, throttle lever position, which basically tells you what angle or what position your throttle's in. You might think it's not handy, but trust me, if you've flown the A320 and you're trying to get it to drop straight onto the climb rate for the auto throttle without taking your hand off the joystick itself, it's just handy to have that there. If you don't hear the click, you know the value, just drop it down to the value, it's set. So for this, I put it to 0 as the minimal value. That's just basically idle. Now, you're probably thinking, what about reverse thrusters? Got that covered. This add-on automatically shows when you reverse your throttles, it'll go into a negative value. And you'll notice that the N2 is already going up. Now, maximum value. This depends on the plane. Because some planes like to redline when they get to like 80%, some get there to 95%, some just show red numbers at 100%. Now, for the sake of a generic profile, I just set it to 95. What that means is if I go over 95 now in the TLP, it's flashing, well, it would be flashing red in some planes, but here it's just showing that I'm in the red, which is close to. If I drop it down to below 95, it's in the green-ish. It's not going to be the exact number for every plane, it's going to be slightly different. But this is basically jump in the plane, start using it profile type thing. Same goes with the NTT, the ITT or N2. It shows the RPM of that specific engine. Total of fuel. This is a good one. It's not a clickable button, it's just a total quantity value. Again, toggle value. All this will do is show the quantity of fuel that's in that tank. So what I've done here, total, I have to press Shift Enter to put fuel in the next line. Now I've changed the colours to show the title, which you can see there. And this is just a generic toggle button. So I'll drag a generic toggle button over, copy that value, display value command from toggle value, put it there. The reason why it's saying, put it there. The reason why it's saying toggle value, for example, spoilers, the button doesn't actually do anything, because all I want it to do is just show whether the spoilers are armed or not. Again, I don't like looking down when I'm close to the airport, and I do really close approaches, as in get everything done really last minute type thing. So it's nice to just flick the switch, glance over to my stream deck and see that my speed brakes or spoilers are armed. Same goes with the gear down. The only problem I've got with this is fixed gear planes. That will always stay lit up. Flat position is self-explanatory. Again, these three are only showing values. Now I couldn't find flat position. Well, I could, but I'd have to set 3 parameters, which means 3 different buttons, or I could have used one of these gauges, but again, each plane is different, as in Airbus has got 1, 2, 3, Boeing's got either 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on and so forth. It's just a head mess, so I didn't bother doing that. So what I've got and done instead is just get it to show the index of the flap. So this plane's got 3, I think. So that's flaps up, flaps 1, flaps 2, flaps 3. That's fully extended. That's takeoff position. So that's self-explanatory. The most difficult one I had to work with are these dials here. These basically show fuel. This plane doesn't have a central tank, so I'll mess about with this one so I don't break it. Now, the reason why I said this one is difficult is because there's not much read up on how to make these dials. But if there is, you need a dictionary to try and figure out what the explanations mean, or Google, or a video. This is why you're watching this one. Wink, wink. But again, I've done it in percentages for the same reason. Generic profile. What I mean by that, zero value speaks for itself. 100, in the way that I've got this set, it's 100%. Now, if you made this into an A320 profile, and you know how much the central tank can hold, that's what you'll set for the maximum. Same goes with the left, same goes for the right, if you know their exact values. But for the sake of just jumping in a plane, any plane, without having to mess with profiles, I just set it to not out of 100 percentage. You can always mess about with that if you really wanted to. I had to come down here to mess about with the colours. This one again was not explained, so it's out of 100. So 12% is red, the other 88% is white. Now you're thinking, can I change them colours? Yes, you can. I can type in lime, and you get lime. I can type in pink, you'll get pink, sort of. And you can add a third colour, but you'd have to deduct the amount from 100. So say if you got 10 there, 70 there, and 10 there, that'll all add up to 100. So you can have three values, and you can have this vertical and have it set for your trim settings as well. Again, you need, if it's a plane specific, you need to know the exact top end trim value and the bottom end trim value for this to work, which will go in there. So if the bottom end is like negative 100 and the maximum range is like positive 300, for example, they're the values you'd have to put in. So I'm going to undo what I've just done there. Put that in. So say for example, I just jump back into the sim now. Let's mess about with the fuel a bit, just so you can see these values. So if I bring the fuel value to maximum, you'll see left and right tanks 50% full. If I drop it down to 50%, it'll show left and right tank 50%. Yeah, left main 50%, right main 50%. You're probably thinking that's just showing that value there. Well, it's not. If I bring up the left tank on its own, 68%, 68%. If I drop the right tank down to say empty, that engine's just shut down. So yeah, just so it doesn't break the sim, let's just start that back up. I believe the APU has to be on for this. As you can see, the APU gauge is showing, and it's showing how much volts it's producing. In the 8320 it doesn't show exact, but it just shows the how much the APU volts are showing. That's again value, toggle value. The APU just shows the RPM, the APU as it's firing up, just to show that it's firing up. So when you get to 28 volts in this particular plane, you know you got enough power. When you fire it down or cut it off, you'll see the volts are going down as the APU is slowly shutting down. And that's basically it. It's somewhat limited by the values that you can do with the SDK, but with this constantly being updated, the add-on, as well as the SDK, in the near future I'll put out more profiles, and what I'll do is I'll put them out on flightsim.to, which is a freeware website, and I'll keep the profile updated. For the purpose of this video, I will put the download link for the profile and the add-on in the description. Now please feel free to run the add-on first, then the profile. Make sure you've got nothing set to default, otherwise the number pad will not work. And if you mess about with it to see how it works and you accidentally break it, that's fine. You can edit profiles, delete that, and reinstall the profile that comes down in the pack. Don't worry about it. If you want to mess about with something, leave this one safe. You can right click on anything. Let's say, for example, if you right click on Autopilot and copy, you can paste it in a different profile, press paste, and then you can go in and mess about with it to see how it's been made. If you need any further help, please feel free to jump into my Discord. I'll leave a link in the video description, and come and chat to me in person. I'll do a desktop stream. I can make you a personalized profile while talking to you via that stream. Or if you're struggling on something, I can help you to try and fix that. With that being said, that concludes the video. I hope it's enough information for you to go ahead and edit these buttons yourself, whether it's on the 6 button, it's 15, or I think it's the 32 or 30, I can't remember what the largest one is. Again, I will keep this profile updated, but I'm gonna keep it updated in my Discord channel as of today. So please feel free to join, and I'll keep updating it and leave it in the Discord for everyone to download. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.